Cobox is secure. I think Cobox is their exchange. The companies have been dissolved. They're both totally a part of Blocktopia now, so I don't know what Blocktopia is, but just by association, I don't want to know.
Cryptopia's new company.
Cryptopia is back as Blocktopia, and they've partnered with the other exit scams. That's great.
Hello. Hey, everyone. What's up? Welcome to Flagship Friday. This is our episode 182, Flagship Friday number 73 in a row. That means the last 73 Fridays we've been doing this show. And we're going to go over the current events and happenings in the crypto community over the past week. And the Crypto Basic Podcast, just for those who have never listened, it's there to give the crypto community a place to learn about their favorite projects from a perspective that doesn't have as much technical knowledge, but is more just, explaining it as simply as we can. And we always want to keep it basic. So
keep it basic.
Yep. Oh, hey, Brent, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, man?
Oh, this is unintentional payback. We did an interview where Brent forgot to introduce me for like a minute. It was like a minute and a half. It might have been 2 minutes, and I was just like, "Hi, I'm here."
Hey, it's Adam.
Yeah. It's easy when you're doing video, but not a podcast. I didn't say a single word. But so yeah, I have a couple things I just wanted to tidy up from a few weeks ago. So yeah, on the last episode, I said yen. Is it the Chinese yen? No, that's Japan. It's the yuan, as Brent Googled and found out is how you pronounce it.
Yeah,
in China.
You had me doubting I'd always called it the yuan. I read it like the way it is. Now, technically, I was actually pronouncing it a little bit wrong. It should be like yuan, but
I actually just thought it was the yuan, like.
No, that's the coin in Mexico, Adam.
It's the Jesus. Mexican yuan. So also I did, and from a few weeks back with one of our episodes with Kareem, I forgot to answer the question who I would want to get the celebrity who I'd want to get the same tattoo with. And I'd say it's probably Russell Westbrook because I just respect his heart and how much he puts it out there on the court and how chill he is off the court. And I don't really know what that would be. Maybe it would just get like a high five. Yeah.
Ooh,
cool. Terrible
that's
answer.
Pretty cringy. Yeah. How do you could even tattoo a hand on your hand and it would be like the high five.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I couldn't think of anything like meaningful to get that would be related to us each, like, I don't know, Russell, maybe we get an ace of spades or something because he loves poker, something dumb like that. Cool.
Have you played with him?
No, but he plays in Oklahoma a lot. And apparently he was there at the Win a few weeks ago. He loves the Win, loves PLO. Loves No Limit. He's pretty tight, apparently. Makes
sense. When I played with Sean Marion one time, he was super tight. I think you were there.
I don't know. Where was this?
At the Win.
Maybe. I played
with
Monj
played with him during that one trip where you won like 2006.
Yeah. I don't remember playing with him, but I played with Nelly once before, and he was also very tight. Apparently, he just grinds a lot of cash at the Commerce.
Interesting.
Yeah. So also the last thing that I wanted to just mention, I had a dream with Vitalik in it the other night. And the dream was we were at lunch, me and him hanging out with one of our fellow friends. It was unknown who that was. It was like a cafeteria setting. And we started talking about esports and how owning a team was a good idea. And Vitalik was just like, yeah, if you're doing esports organization, I want you in. I want to be involved. So me and Dream Vitalik are opening an esports team soon. Unsure what we're going to call it. I'm completely normal, not insane or anything.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, and we're almost ready to do rapid fire. Last week, we did not have anything that was released. Brent's been recovering from his nose tampon situation. We don't really have to revisit all the ins and outs of that. I think he went into that. And we got a lot of stuff coming up, actually, next week. Interview with Monica from Quaintanance? How do you say it? I'm not sure.
No, her name is Monica Quaintance.
Oh,
that's not the project. That's her name, and she's from the Cadena project.
Oops, I'm sorry about that. From the Cadena project. And we have Brett Ritchie from Blitz Predict as well coming out in a little bit. And what are we doing, Brent?
So we just recorded that. We're gonna get that out to you after. It'll be coming after the Cadena one, even though we recorded it before this flagship. It was pretty cool. We were talking about the intersection between gaming, esports, and crypto, and all that stuff. So, he is part of a project, but it's not like he was there shilling his project. He was just talking to us. Adam's known him for 12 years, so it was an interesting conversation.
I was actually talking about IOST.
Oh, yeah. iOS. So the reason we haven't released anything earlier this week is I had to reschedule basically everything from my nose situation. I'm fine now, as you can hear. I'm not nasally or anything like that, or I can speak like I couldn't last time. And they haven't rescheduled yet. Not that they're not going to. They've been in contact with me. I just don't know when we're going to actually get that one out.
Cool. Now, let's move on to the rapid fire. Brent, you want to start us out?
All right, I'll take them. So the DAI, Maker's DAI, the stablecoin, is now on Coinbase. Not Coinbase Pro. It was already on Coinbase Pro. Coinbase Pro has a lot of different options. Coinbase itself does not. Coinbase itself has a much more limited selection. So the idea that they're getting behind a decentralized stablecoin is big, in my opinion. I really appreciate that they're doing that. They even have their own stablecoin, and they're willing to do this. So now that I'm not banned from Coinbase anymore, I'll say good things about them. So that's pretty cool.
I just wanted to mention the 60 Minutes piece that aired last week. Did you have any funny interactions with people?
Not really. People have just been talking about pizza a lot, so I went and got pizza yesterday. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, there was I had someone asked if I should get back into Bitcoin, or another one that his dad was like, should I buy Bitcoin Cash? So, I mean, regardless of what they're talking about, it's good that people are asking questions now. This is just like another reason why adoption is imminent.
I am getting a lot more of the random DMs, the random messages that say, hey, I want to talk to you about this project, or tell me what to buy, that kind of stuff. And that is kind of indicative of, just people FOMOing or whatever you want to call that. But no non-crypto-y people getting too hyped up on me yet.
Cool. So the Ethereum Foundation actually got $30 million in funding for a dev upgrade earlier this week. This was actually 19 million of it was dedicated to the building Ethereum of tomorrow over the next 12 months. And this includes a scaling upgrade for the much anticipated Plasma. And that's also been dubbed Ethereum 2.0. Why do things have to have all these like kitschy names? I get it.
What do you mean? Why do they have to have these catchy names? That's like the point.
No, I know. They're just
hyped.
Internet 4.0,
yeah, the points are important. You have to have those dots.
Yeah. So another 8 millions to support current Ethereum mainnet, and then last 3 millions for dev growth and organizing the early DevCon, which would be cool to go to be honest. It'd be interesting to see what that's all about.
Yeah, we're not developers, but I'm always interested to see that kind of stuff. And so a lot of times, if it works with our schedule, they will provide us press passes for these things. So we will, if there's a conference that makes sense, we'd love to go there. If you're a conference that wants some clout in the space and you want to have a real guest headlining your conference, you can reach out to us and we're available to hire as well.
Such a salesman. And now, do you want to take this next one? It's a pretty easy one, but I put it up there.
No, go ahead. You put it on there. You can read it.
But I put up the last two.
Yeah, that's fine. Keep going. It's your rapid fire, man. We're 10 minutes in.
Okay. All right. Tim Draper, the famed investor who basically was very early on Bitcoin years ago, said that he was at a conference, SALT conference. I've never heard of it, but I guess it's an investor conference of sorts. And he said that by 2023, he believes it's going to go to 250K Bitcoin and 5% market share of the earth. That's literally what he said, of the earth. Of the earth.
That sounds like an item you would get in an RPG. You're like, you have the sword of the earth.
There you go.
Yes.
And it's an
plus
ERC
5%.
1155 token, non-fungible. So, So the last thing was actually just announced, I think today. AT&T now accepts Bitcoin. That you can now pay with your bill through the My AT&T app with Bitcoin using BitPay, and that's also a pretty big fucking deal.
And anytime you can use it anywhere, it's really cool.
Yeah.
I've basically spent Bitcoin at Whole Foods because in the Cash app, you can just trade it very, very quickly, and then you can swipe your card, and your card gives you 10% off if you're using the boost, and then you've turned your Bitcoin. Now, if that goes up, then whoops, you're basically Bitcoin pizzaing. But
yeah,
you don't want to buy pizza at Whole Foods anyway.
Yeah, actually, they had a cherry pizza once that I swear to God, I've had it once, and I don't like cherries at all, but there were cherries on this slice of pizza. It might have been in Austin, actually, and it was unreal. I have no idea, never saw it again. It was great. But otherwise, let's wrap this rapid fire up and move on to
enough of the
our
cherry
main meat.
pizza. Let's talk about somebody who has never popped a cherry in his entire life, Craig Wright. Adam, tell me about what this douche nozzle is up to now.
That's what he's up to. So yeah, he got the registration rights. He tried to get the registration rights copyrighted to Satoshi, and then I guess the U.S. Copyright Office the next day was like, "Oh wait, it's super easy to copyright anything."
It's not only easy, there's no due diligence. It's like a fee that you pay.
$55 it costs.
A $55 fee. So it's not even a big fee. It's less than registering a company. And all they do is say, okay, somebody filed a copyright. That's it. There is no, okay, this person isn't. It's not the trademark and patent office or anything like that. This is just copyrights. They don't do any due diligence. I could have filed this, and all of a sudden, there were all kinds of news articles all over CoinGeek, which is the one that Calvin Ayre owns. There was a Google notification that said Satoshi Nakamoto, and then in parentheses it said Craig Wright registers copyright of the Bitcoin white paper with Copyright Office, and it's like, God, I hate everything about this. And no, nothing. It's literally nothing. It's more of him doing his dumb trolly shit that he does. I don't know where he gets up. Like, what in his mind is this shit? He's just thinking of all the different ways he can have an article written about him by somebody who's stupid that they interpret to him being Satoshi. They're like, oh, he had an email. There was this email. But, like, only if you're a complete idiot do you believe that the email that you're talking about actually pertains to him, because all you have to do is look at it and the hash says that it doesn't. This is the same thing. If you read, Satoshi Nakamoto gets the copyright, it's Craig. Like, yeah, okay, you can read that, and then all you have to do is do one level of due diligence, and you no longer have that belief anymore. So Charles even tweeted out that it would be a shame if the U.S. the U.S. Copyright Office got DDoS attacked by people filing saying that they were Satoshi and on top of Craig Wright, which is a bad idea, because if you file these fraudulently, you actually can face consequences. So that's what I'm hoping happens here. Craig can actually get a consequence for filing this and lying. So the more he gets involved in this shit, the more likely it is that he's going to come crashing down. And I for one can't wait to see it. But at this point, it doesn't matter. If you currently think that Craig Wright is Satoshi, it does not matter what happens for the outcome of that case. It will not change your mind. So you're not listening to this podcast if you think that, because I don't think we have a single listener that believes that. We have a much better crew here. And if you are listening and you do think that, well, you need to do your research and you need to realize that you're wrong.
Yeah, apparently they forgot to do their own research before they announced this. Apparently it was a press release saying the U.S. government recognizes Craig Wright as Satoshi, but of course the U.S. Copyright Office did not.
They actually put something out that says that they don't. They're like, what are you talking about? We don't think that this. They said it in the negative. They never said it in the positive. They've said it in the negative. This is a complete non-thing, other than it's just more of Craig flailing his arms around trying to get the money that he tried to steal from Kleiman and Hal Finney.
It's just so much. There's always just a lot going on, and I just don't really understand what he's trying to prove. I know that so I actually did not know about Dave Kleiman, right?
Right. He was one of the candidates for possibly being Satoshi, who has not been proven incorrect.
It's crazy how many conversations I've had about, and I've just assumed it's Hal Finney. I even watched like the Beyond Bitcoin documentary, and I feel like they didn't even mention Dave Kleiman in there. Did they? Did you watch that?
I don't remember if they did or they didn't. He's a figure that really you only start to find out about if you're in it, because he never went around broadcasting that he was Satoshi or anything like that. The reason most people know who he is because Craig has a posthumous lawsuit against his estate trying to get millions of dollars from him.
Yeah, but
by saying he's Satoshi.
But here's the thing. So I'm reading his Wikipedia, Dave Kleiman, and it says that he had involvement with Craig Wright. So I'm not saying that Craig Wright is Satoshi, but
Craig was involved with all these guys. Like, he's been around since then, but he can't write code that's been proven because he copy and pasted code and forgot to change even the part where it's like, if you copy and paste it, this is the part that you need to change. I don't really know code, so I don't know exactly what that was, but it was after somebody told him he didn't know how to write Hello World, and then he wrote it, but they found the thing that he copy pasted it from. So he doesn't know how to do computer code. He was just like around these guys, and I think 3 years ago is when he started that lawsuit. Kareem actually reported on it at one of the flagships.
Maybe May 2016.
Yeah, it might be a good idea for a full episode to dive in and see what's going on with the lawsuit. But basically, Craig is dragging their estate, their family, down and trying to sue them for the equivalent amount of what he says he's owed in Bitcoin. But he's not suing for the Bitcoin, he's suing for the money. If I understand it right, because the Kleiman died and his private keys died with him. So
yeah, so it says that Kleiman, Wright, and two others performed a recorded Bitcoin transaction in early 2009, and then the lawsuit claims that 2008 and 2013 they mined over 1 million Bitcoins, and that Craig Wright lost the money. It seems like a mess. I'm definitely down to do a deep dive into all of it because, he died, Hal Finney died. There's two people that, it's gone, correct?
Yeah, that's the part of it. It's tough. Once somebody dies, their coins are out of circulation, so really, we don't have 21 million Bitcoin ever going to be created. It's less than that. It's even more scarce than you think.
Yeah. So how do you think that this is going to so you believe that there's going to be a fallout for CSW pretty soon?
Hopefully. He's getting involved in enough stuff legally that I don't think he has the right direction on. I don't think he's a patent troll. He's always been a patent troll, and there's no downside to being a patent troll. That's why it's so scummy. You can just attack all these patents all you want. But I think there is a downside to claiming you are something that you're not. So hopefully, and I'm looking to Peter McCormick for this because he's the big public person that was attacked by Calvin and Craig, and he's literally posting all the documents on Twitter. I wish we'd had him on the show after this had happened, because then we could really talk to him, because on the show that I had him on, he even said, do you really think that there's no chance Craig is Satoshi? And I'm like, well, nothing's 100%, but yeah, it's maybe non-zero, but that's it. And then he compared it to flat Earth, but yeah, that was before he got sued. But
so the next topic, you want to chat a little about that with one of my favorite coins, actually, but go for it.
Yeah, this was just kind of cool. Engine is teaming up with Microsoft again. Now, they've already made partnerships with Minecraft, and Engine, the Engine company before the Engine coin, already had partnerships with Minecraft, which is part of Microsoft. But they have created a new server called EngineCraft that is actually going to use the Engine coin. It's in a closed beta, and they have blockchain assets inside that server, so you can take them between games and you can find them in the blockchain. So it's pretty cool. Minecraft is still a massive game, and it's a massive game for a generation that is used to digital assets. So everything starts somewhere, and like we just discussed with Brett, it'll be really cool one day when you can take a gun from CSGO and you can put it in Fortnite. Or at least a skin.
These non-fungible assets. I know we've mentioned it before, but the ERC 1155s, I'm pretty sure is what they're called. And they're definitely a type of token that you can get that you can... I think Engine actually has some sort of involvement with them, or ERC 721. I'm not, both of those. And yeah, there's a huge market actually for buying these skins. There are definitely some websites out there where you can go on, and let's say you have a Rocket League skin that you really like on the car, or you want some sweet tires or something. You can buy that and then get it transferred to you. So yeah,
but it's centralized.
Sure, but
right now,
these things, right now. So at some point, when you own it, you're just gonna have it, and you're gonna be able to bounce game. See, that this is what seems crazy to me though. Like, you're just gonna be able to bring a gun from Fortnite into Counter-Strike, is what you're saying.
It has to be programmed that way. So you basically have to use what's called the SDK, their software development kit.
Yeah.
And it has to work between the games. Now, a lot of games are using the same engine. So if like 6 different games are using the Unreal Engine, it's not really that difficult to program a shirt that works in all the games, or a skin. So now you're not going to be able to change what it does in the game. At least you wouldn't be able to do that unless you had all the developers on board, because you could create something too powerful or something like that. But maybe if you wanted something to work in Elder Scrolls 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, you might be able to do that as long as it works inside the rules of the game. So maybe the same developer, maybe Bethesda says, all of our games you can use this thing, and it does these things in all of the games.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it's probably just going to be aesthetic, which is where a lot of these things go anyways. So if you put a ninja jersey on, for instance, in Fortnite, and you want to take that from Fortnite to CSGO, and you want to take that and put it in League of Legends on your character in there, or whatever the case, then that's how it would work game to game to game. It would just be visual and not something that worked with the mechanics of the game.
Yeah, so basically moving forward, a lot of these games, aka like Engine Craft or whatever, anything that is made on the same network or using the same engine is going to have this kind of programmed in.
Yeah, it'll start small and get bigger and bigger, and it's pretty cool. And specifically with Engine, part of what drives the demand for Engine Coin is that you have to build the engine into the item. You have to lock it in there. So if you join our Patreon, the Crypto Basic Podcast Patreon, and you become a $1 per episode donation or more, you get a non-fungible Crypto Basic Podcast Patreon supporter token. There are only 87 of them left, I believe. We are not going to create more than the 100. You are just going to be... we won't do like round 2 or anything like that. These are it. So if you want to get your hands on these, you'll have to join our Patreon. We love it when everyone joins that. Keeps us afloat. It's the best thing ever. We try to put a little bit of extra content on there when we can, but each one of them has 5 engine tokens baked into it, and you can melt it down to get those 5 engine tokens if you want. Now, that creates scarcity in the supply of these Crypto Basic Podcast Patreon supporter tokens. So as people decide they're not going to hodl their engine anymore and they melt it down and sell it, that makes your token that much more valuable, Crypto Basic Podcast peeps.
There you go.
Or basic bitches.
So, Brent, we actually have a new section. Do you want to...
Yes, we do.
Tell the listeners?
We have a new section, and if we have the drop done, I gave it to Jason last second. If he got this done, he's a champ. He would insert it here.
No. That's a scam.
That's right. This section is called That's a Scam. Look, I think we're just going to have plenty of material for this section, and it's unfortunate, but so many of these projects are going to be accidentally or purposely or some combination of the two exit scamming because they were not built to handle a bear market, and the incentives are just not aligned. So every week it seems like there's something new, so it's time. We're just going to talk about this stuff, and Adam is only fitting to kick off this section with the daddy.
BitConnect. I mean, man, it is still It was honestly the meme of the year, Carlos Matos. But yeah, so BitConnect is coming back. I know this just seems absurd, it seems ridiculous, and it seems it couldn't possibly be true. But yes, it's true. BitConnect version 2.0 is coming back July 1st. The website is up. And I guess what I think is they're just trying to capture people who are somehow not on. They're just not on the internet, or they're not on social media or something. They don't check things. They don't Google. They just have a lot of faith in people and things that they don't know. No, I don't think BitConnect had a single picture of a person on their website that worked for BitConnect. It was completely anonymous. I remember, and here they are again trying to make it happen. But I think that Crypto Basic Podcast, one of the large reasons that this podcast was created, I was not there when it started. Actually, I kind of was. I was in the Discord where it actually did materialize, but was to stop scams, to educate listeners, to educate people in this space, because it is fucking complicated. Every day, me and you are trying to figure out what the hell, a lot of the real, studs in this space are even talking about. You ever see a Vitalik tweet? It's indecipherable sometimes because he's talking about such techie dev type of stuff that even when he's not, it's just like, it's just basically like, you're super fucking intelligent and I'm just going to let you make the big decisions. But yeah, we're here to educate you, and you need to educate anyone who happens to even sniff this BitConnect scam again happening. It just can't.
Adam, I have good news for you.
Mm-hmm.
It appears to be a joke. So I thought that it was at first, but I also tweeted out that it was super important to report that account for everybody. Jack at Twitter understands what BitConnect is, I promise you. And I reported the account. Hopefully some of our followers did as well. The account is gone. So there is no BitConnect 2.0 Twitter account. That website, which I'm not even going to do them the service of saying it, it's either a really bad joke or it's actually BitConnect, and I am not interested in anyone going. This will not be in the show notes. The website just has affiliate links for like Binance and shit up on it now. So and they're trying to sell the domain. So, it's not a real account.
Well, it's crazy because I checked 2 days ago and everything was up and running. It looked legitimate.
Oh, I'm sorry. The account's still there. They replaced it with a picture of like somebody peeing.
No. I saw the Twitter account, so then I dug a little deeper and then I found the actual, like where the article, like the initial where it was reported. And then I found, the website, but it appears, looking at the website now, that yes, it's just a landing page for Ledger and Binance and BitMEX if you want to sign up.
Yeah, all of which you can find in our show notes. So don't go to that website because that's a scam.
All right. Well, so yeah, I mean, I feel like that was a good rant though. I went on a pretty good rant there, and it was all for naught. Oh my God.
That's why I let you go.
You just let me go.
I'm gonna let him do this. This is, you're passionate. I was passionate. I had a good rant lined up for, talking about how I wasn't gonna make any more jokes. Like, this is serious. If they're coming back, or the jokes are just helping them, but they're not coming back, so it's okay.
It's all right. But there is some actual legitimate scams that you. Maybe not actual legitimate, but they may be scams.
They may be. So this section is never going to be like, this is definitely a scam, but this stuff is eyebrow raising for sure. HitBTC is the subject of this one. You've heard me say it before. HitBTC is fucking terrible. Don't use it. Just don't. There's no reason to use HitBTC. There are better options out there. It is a terrible exchange. In fact, when I met Luke from CoinMarketCap, when we were at the Beyond Blocks conference, the guy who had brought us there, his name was Saber. He comes in between us and he's like, "Hey, Brent, did you tell Luke what you think about their advertising?" And because he had listened to the show and he knew that I had been pissed off at CoinMarketCap for pushing HitBTC and not making it clear that it was an ad. And we actually had a discussion about that. And what's funny is they had fixed it already, and I just hadn't looked. And he's like, "Yeah, that was stupid. We shouldn't have done that." And whatever. Luke ended up being an awesome guy. I hope I get to see him again. He was on Kareem's panel if you want to watch that video. But anyway, HitBTC, the world's most advanced crypto exchange, is just don't use it. I said this about Cryptopia back in the day, and I'm saying it, and I've been saying it. I'm saying it again now about HitBTC. There's no reason to do this. And if you do, understand that you are taking a massive, massive, massive risk by using this website. You already were before I knew what I'm about to tell you. And now it's even worse. So a website named Crypto Intelligence has reported that CoinFirm, and they're all affiliated with each other from their partner with, and they're a blockchain research firm. So again, they have a little bit of skin in the game here to find this kind of stuff because it makes them look good. It makes you want to hire them, right? They did an analysis on HitBTC's wallets and found that they only have $3 million worth of coins stored on them. Now, we don't know how much they purport to hold in their wallets because they're not going to make users' accounts public, right? But we know that there are red flags, and these red flags around this $3 million are really concerning. So first, the reserves. Let's talk about them. Here's the big thing about the reserves. For every Ethereum that they have in their storage, they have $31.5 thousand worth of trade volume reported. Kraken, for each Ethereum that they have in their storage, they have $5 worth of trade volume on a one-to-one basis. Bittrex has $6, Kraken has 20, and HitBTC has 31.5 thousand.
So what is this showing exactly?
It's showing that they have a massive, massive amount of volume compared to how much Ethereum that they have sitting there. Now, in their wallet, they have 4,945.18 Ethereum on the day that they did this audit. Now, to compare that to Kraken, they have 2.9 million Ethereum. Bittrex is 1.4 million. Poloniex is 1.2. So the volume on the website per each Ethereum that they have is the big difference. So you would expect that if they have that few sitting in a wallet for their reserves, that their volume would be representative of that, unless it's just tons and tons and tons of wash trading, right?
So you're saying that it's just fake trade or fabricated?
There are two options.
The trade,
it's
volume.
Either fake trading. It could just be a lot of wash trading. It could be a lot of fake trading, or they don't have anywhere near the amount of money that they're supposed to have to cover the people that are trading on their platform. So it's not in and of itself damning. There's more that we're going to get into, but it is something that should absolutely raise an eyebrow. We look at Bitcoin. For each Bitcoin, they have $2.2 million in volume that they hold. Comparatively, Kraken is 1,000, Bittrex is $630, and Poloniex is 2,900. So they are they're like 100 times the closest competitor in that case.
Wow.
That's extremely scary. So again, either a massive, massive amount of fake trading, or there is something seriously wrong with their reserves. And we're going to go more into it. We'll see more about this. Tons of reported withdrawal issues with regard to their Know Your Customer and anti-money laundering system. They require nothing in the way of ID to get on. You can trade immediately. No ID required. But they selectively will choose who has to give ID on the way out. So there are tons of stories out there, and you can find them. They're in the link in the show notes, of people who will try to send out $500,000 and then get stuck in KYC AML for 5 months, 6 months,
Jeez.
and they still haven't had any resolution on it. So that's another red flag, because
I
if
saw
they're
one the
insolvent,
other day. There was one of the top Reddit posts, I think, in cryptocurrency.
Yep, CryptoMonk, I think, was signal boosting that, trying to help somebody out, but it's a big problem, and that's anecdotal, but it's anecdotal in a way that's pretty consistent. So again, neither of those taken alone is insolvent, but once you start to piece the puzzle together, it starts to look a little bit more like they're insolvent. They also have 10 times the withdrawal fees of any other crypto exchange. And they have some that are as high as 40 times other crypto exchanges. So they're clearly trying to incentivize people to keep their money on the exchange. if it costs you $8 to take your $100 in Bitcoin off, you might just leave it there.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. I had some coins on there, and then it was like going to be like, oh, we're taking 45 of your tokens, of your 300 tokens to transfer out. But like, I think I'm just gonna have, you should just do that.
300 and 455 is better than zero, or 255 is better than zero.
Yeah.
So their fees are massive. So another way they're trying to stop people from coming off. They're trying to keep the money on there. Finally, and this is another big red flag. I understand this is crypto. I understand Satoshi Nakamoto created this space, and we look at him and we look up to him. Their entire team is fucking anonymous. When has that ever worked out? We just talked about it. BitConnect, their entire team was anonymous.
It does
who
not.
else was anonymous? Bruno Blocks, the guy who fucking scammed earlier. An anonymous team behind a massive exchange is a red flag. No matter how much you want to be on the side of crypto anarchy, you have to take this as a red flag. And when you combine it with the rest, what you have is a ridiculously risky situation for using HitBTC. If your coin is only available on HitBTC, you should do two things. You should reevaluate whether you even want to get that coin. And two, you need to get on and get off and realize you're going to be paying a hefty fee in the process. And you know what? You might not even get off if your trade is big enough, because they might just decide, nah, too big. We're going to have to get some Know Your Customer done. So don't touch HitBTC, man. There's just no reason. There are so many options out there, much better options. Bittrex, Binance, between the two of them, you have almost every shitcoin you could possibly want. And then some. So just use them. Don't use this stupid site. All right.
Yeah. Binance, Coinbase, Kraken, and maybe Gemini, and
there's a lot of reputable exchanges. I didn't list them all. I just listed the ones that, like, if you're really looking for a fringe coin, those two should include it.
Yeah.
And if it's more fringe than that, so you're already taking a massive risk by touching a coin that's that high a risk. You're just magnitude increasing your risk by touching HitBTC or any tiny ass exchange. So just be careful, man. Be careful.
And Brent, let's tackle the Tether situation.
That's a scam. All right. More Tether situation coming up. It never stops. It never stops, dude. So Tether has now admitted that they're keeping some of their reserve in Bitcoin. Remember when it was cash and cash equivalents? Now it's and Bitcoin. Who knows what else they've been keeping it in? Their lawyer, David Miller, admitted that they had invested Bitcoin with their reserves. And this is the quote from him. Prior to the 24th order, Tether actually did invest in instruments beyond cash and cash equivalents, including Bitcoin. They bought Bitcoin. So he goes on to act like it's ridiculous and the court is overstepping their boundaries to care about what their investments are. Even though they list off it's cash and cash equivalents. And before cash equivalents, it was just supposed to be cash, right?
Yeah.
So Miller argued that the Attorney General's office wants to have restricted language that limits Tether's investments to cash or cash equivalents because, quote unquote, they don't like some of Tether's investments. So he's just literally saying, you guys don't like crypto. That's why you're not letting us invest in crypto. That's his fucking argument. Miller claims that the Attorney General's office is acting beyond its jurisdiction and trying to exert regulatory authority. That's the rest of that article. He said it was a small amount. Who knows what a small amount is? But we do know that post this, Paolo Ardoino, the CTO of Bitfinex, which of course is totally different from Tether, right? Said in a tweet that Tether owned 0.076 Bitcoin, which clearly this is not about 0.076 Bitcoin. So he's just like, it's just, we only own like dust of Bitcoin. It's fine. It's no big deal. And he was talking about specifically May 16th, which is after all of this stuff happened. So the Stuart Hogener, the general counsel for both Bitfinex and Twitter, referred to this report as neither breaking nor news. Actually, I agree with him. It's not breaking and it's not news. Tether is a fucking scam. Like they do not have what they purported to have. They are not what they presented themselves as. And you need to stop making it right for them. Stop trading into and out of Tether. Put pressure on these exchanges to stop using Tether as a base pair. We should not be involved in Tether at all. And any Bitcoin maximalists that think it's okay to align themselves with Tether are wrong. They just are wrong. You wouldn't stand for this in anything else. This is worse than fractional reserve banking. If fractional reserve banking was investing in one of the most volatile assets on the planet, it would literally be worse than what it is today. So
you know what's crazy is that I, for some reason, recognized Stuart Hoegner, general counsel for Bitfinex and Tether, and I guess he's an international gaming and cryptocurrency attorney and accountant. So he definitely, when you look at his Twitter, I follow 60 people that follow him. So
interesting.
Yeah, so I guess he's pretty, hey, there's the intersection of gaming and crypto. This guy is representing both of I don't know. I'm unsure what he's done in the past within the poker space, but I'll have to look into that a little bit later. But still,
he currently represents two of the scummiest companies in crypto. So my guess is if he was involved in the poker space, it would be with companies like Ultimate Bet or Absolute Poker or maybe Full Tilt Poker, something like that.
Yeah, we'll see.
Anyway, yeah. Hey, Stuart, if you want to come on the show and tell me why it's okay for Tether to be investing in Bitcoin, bring it. I'll have an argument with a lawyer live on air. I'll be nice. I won't swear.
He actually did a under the gun card player TV segment, which was explaining internet poker and stuff. I don't know. But yeah, so he was pretty involved, I guess, probably pre Black Friday before poker kind of died out for a bit. And do you want to talk about one last scam? Brent?
Here's another one. Now, this is pretty new. It looks pretty damning. I would say the jury's still out a little bit. I mean, there's nothing you can do at this point, so it doesn't really matter. Cobinhood has apparently exit scammed after they just did a second ICO, basically. Very similar to the Substratum second ICO situation. Hopefully these don't become a thing. But they had an ICO in 2017. They raised $13 million, but they decided to do another one. So their coin is COP. They decided to do another one called Dexon. They did it as a partnership, but it had the exact same CEO. The guy was named Popo. He has a real name, but I'm not even going to. His nickname is Popo. They raised $3 million for that one. So they sent out the tokens, but the contract was still locked to everybody. They unlocked the contract and immediately dumped all the tokens that they had. And then almost immediately again filed for bankruptcy and went into liquidation.
Jeez.
So yeah, there was some drama with the guy Popo being removed as the founder at some point. And I'm in their Telegram right before I got on the air. I decided to go in and give him a chance to give me some information that I might not be getting from these articles. As usual with these communities that are part of scam coins and they're grasping at straws, they were aggressive. They said, why don't you just scroll up and read it for yourself? And I was like, look guys, I'm recording the episode now, so if there's something you want me to mention and you think would be helpful for you, I will do it. They linked me two different sites that did not load, one called bnext, the other one called bnextmcom.tw. Neither one of those actually loaded. They posted another thing that said Cobox is secure. I think Cobox is their exchange. The companies have been dissolved. They're both totally a part of Blocktopia now, so I don't know what Blocktopia is, but just by association, I don't want to know.
Cryptopia's new company.
Cryptopia is back as Blocktopia, and they've partnered with the other exit scams. That's great. They apparently were based in Taiwan. They fired all their Taiwanese employees. A new little team is going to take over, blah, blah, blah. All the standard damage control shit that these exit scammers do. You never know. It went from 12 cents to 2 cents within a 24-hour period. And they're disputing that the team dumped. But the article that we have has a bunch of links to wallets.
I don't think Cobinhood's been anywhere close to 12 cents for a long time. But maybe they tried to pump it and then got out.
I'm sorry. DXN was 12 cents.
Okay. Never even heard of that.
The DXN went 12 cents to 2 cents. DX, that's the token they just released.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So,
big pump and dump.
And they said basically people screamed exit because the nodes were taken offline. So, yeah. Again, they've been kicking out anybody that comes in there and spreads FUD. I haven't been kicked out yet because I said it fairly neutrally. They didn't respond nicely to me, but they did give me something eventually. So
That's
so
a scam.
That's a scam, probably. All right, that's it. That's the scam section. I hope we don't have 4 new scams every single week to talk about, and that's a scam. But if you're interested in giving us some information on a scam, or more importantly, I really want to have an interview with one of these people. I want to get Justin Tab on the show. I want to get Bruno Blocks on the show. I want to get one of these people on the show and pick their brain.
Can we please get Justin's son on the show?
Well, Justin's son hasn't really scammed anybody yet. I don't like him. He's slime ball. He hasn't exit scammed yet. Like I don't think he's gonna produce anything.
I was just doing the Tron bit, but
yeah, you're right. I forgot you love Tron. Yeah,
it's all right. We have so many running jokes. It's hard to keep up sometimes.
Yeah, maybe we'll have a solution for that in the future. Spoiler. Anyway, yeah, I would love to have one of these people on the show. It'll be a hostile interview. You're gonna have to answer the hard questions. I don't mind giving somebody a professional hostile interview. It can be done. Come on the show. I've made that offer for every single person that I've said something bad about. If you are one of these turd balls, if you run HitBTC, get on here. Tell me why it's okay to do what you're doing. Anyway, that's it. That's good. We're moving on from that. We had a little mailbag question. It's pretty involved. I don't know. She had asked for a quick answer, so I'm going to read this off, and we'll see what we can do. It involves your new favorite word, Adam. So this is from Millie in the Discord. She wrote, I read an article at the Bitcoinist about JP Morgan telling people that the US-China trade war could boost safe haven currencies. Do you think it's likely that the weakening yuan will push the Chinese to use crypto as the safe haven asset now that Russia has already bought the gold? That's from Millie. M-I-L-I.
I do think that this is definitely funny enough, in the Tim Draper interview, they were like, the question was like, what about the trade war? And he was like, it's not really a trade war. It's just 2 countries, making some sanctions and stuff. And I kind of agree. Like branding it a trade war is just, I know. I mean, just branding it, a trade war seems kind of like, sensationalist to some extent. Regardless, I do think that there are going to be certain causes that make crypto a lot safer in the short term. I mean, maybe in the long term as well. But yeah, I could definitely see a lot of the Chinese deciding to kind of move that direction. What do you think?
So the interesting thing here is I don't consider crypto a safe asset compared to even a slightly declining world power currency. I just don't. I don't see crypto as a safe asset compared to the euro. I don't see it as a safe asset compared to the dollar. I see it as a good asset for the risk reward profile that it provides, and I will continue to buy the asset. And eventually, I'm hoping that it will be comparable to one of these other big powers coins, but they're not there yet, and it isn't a good solution for being safe yet. Yeah. Now, I don't know what the Chinese sanctions are on owning the dollar. I think they can own it if they want. So it would be more likely that they would just move into the dollar rather than into crypto. But especially when some things are very difficult to do with crypto in China. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that it's like not good for crypto that a currency is struggling. And I don't want to see anybody's currency fall. In a perfect world, Bitcoin just gets up there and works alongside the dollar, alongside the yuan, alongside the yen.
In places like Venezuela, it really is. I would go as far to say it's a safe haven.
Yes, if you have a completely corrupt regime and it is collapsing, then yes, it is safe. Like I feel like if you were in Havana, Cuba, you might really be interested in learning how cryptocurrency works.
What is sorry to interrupt, but what is the Russia has already bought the gold? What is she referring to?
I don't really know what that means. So I would imagine there's some. I didn't read the article. There wasn't a link, so I didn't go that far. But the gold to me doesn't sound like Bitcoin. Although I know that Russia is fairly pro crypto, or at least they have.
I guess they bought 550,000 ounces of gold as of yesterday. They bought yesterday. I mean, that's the report. So
if they bought a shit ton of gold, then that would mean that they are hoping for some sort of stability, I guess. Gold is only as valuable as people want it to be. Gold is reasonably volatile too. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm not an economist. I don't know how this stuff plays out. I don't know how the trade war plays out. I don't know how people decide to move their money. If it was me and I saw the dollar weakening, yeah, I would probably move a little bit more of my money into cryptocurrency. But that is me. That's not the average person. 80% of college students, when they were asked if they wanted one Bitcoin or $1, chose to take $1. So, in a recent poll. So, we're not there yet.
No.
For crypto but I think that it is likely that those Chinese that do choose that route will be doubly rewarded if their currency falls versus the dollar and Bitcoin goes up versus the dollar. If
they're willing to stick it out, it's not a safe haven because it's not really a safe asset.
Right.
It's just, because it's going to go up and down very
it's exceptionally volatile.
Yeah.
Exceptionally. I mean, the amount of price change we've had in just the last couple of weeks, it's been nice that it's been in an upward trajectory, but the idea that something could be worth 20,000 and then be worth what did it get down to, like 3,000 and then right back up to 8 or 9,000 is very, very scary, and there is nothing quote unquote safe about that. It's completely speculative. So when you're investing in this stuff and when you're participating in cryptocurrencies, you got to understand the risk that you're taking on. And we say it all the time, and we're going to say it again right now just because it seems pretty applicable. We are not financial advisors. You need to do your own research on all of your investments. They have inherent risk, but in crypto, it is even bigger than you would normally expect. You could just look at the volatility charts to see that. Do your own research, never invest more than you can afford to lose, and never leave any money on exchanges that would ever emotionally hurt you, and then never leave anything on HitBTC.
Yeah. Do you know who reported the Craig Wright article? Where it was definitely some main news sources, but if they had done their own research,
CoinDesk.
If they had done their own research, maybe they would not have reported these things. It's like sometimes it's like, oh, this is just what it means. Not, oh God, he's trying to get
we have the bullish or bullshit section. I mean, you got to do level 2 on these things. You need to take it one step further. You need to just check. There's not a lot of oversight in journalism in general. There's definitely not a lot of oversight in crypto journalism because there is a lot of
one thing I would
bias.
recommend that is a great tool that is under, I think people don't realize, and it's just I've just learned it because I've been on Twitter for so long. But you do you Google whatever the article or whatever you heard is, the phrase, like maybe it's Bitfinex. You Google that, and then you go on Twitter and also search the same phrase, because you'll end up finding a lot of you go top, you go latest, you just need to see, because it's a different news source that is completely, the algorithm's completely different. And a lot of times on Twitter and Reddit, you end up finding things that are not as SEO driven, which is very important.
And you got to get outside your bubble.
Yeah.
Reddit is not always the best source of information. I get a lot of information from Reddit, but I know to double check. I know to go to other places, because just because people are like-minded doesn't mean they're always right. Just because somebody thinks like me does not mean they come to the correct conclusions. So I always will advocate this. Always look and understand your opponent's position, especially if it's on something big. If you're on one of those hot button issues, if you're talking about abortion, gun control, vaccines, any of that stuff, understand the opposing position as well as you would if you believed the opposing position, and you will then be able to come up with a very good conclusion, hopefully.
Yes. I think this was a good little tangent we went on regarding just, kind of how to do some research and how to stay vigilant and safe in this unregulated space.
All right. I think that's it for today, right?
Yep.
All right. Join us on Discord. Join the conversation in Discord. We're there all the time. That we get a lot of our questions from the Discord. We're always cracking jokes. Adam's in there pumping Tron. We've got an emoji that if you type in Adam, it brings up the Tron symbol. Rate us on iTunes. We have amazing ratings.
I do not own Tron. Just have to reiterate that occasionally to any new listeners. I'm not a Tron boy, but they do like to troll me, being one.
Follow us on Twitter at CryptoBasicPod. You can tip with Brave on Twitter now with Basic Attention Token, only in the development build at the moment, but it'll be live. We're verified as a publisher on there, so you'll even be able to tip us with that bat, even though I know like the tipping is a little bit wonky sometimes. You can follow us on Reddit, CryptoBasicBrent, and Adam is at Ruthless on Twitter. I'm at Brentity, and that is that, you know, I used to be Chubby Crypto, but it didn't really stick. So,
and then someone stole your name anyways, so, you know, what are you going to do?
I swear we're going to do a newsletter sometime soon. It's been on our to-do list. We're going to make it different than the content that we have here. We'll talk about some really cool things on the newsletter that you won't get anywhere else. You can sign up for that link on the bottom of cryptobasicpodcast.com. Otherwise, we're not financial advisors. I already said all that like 3 minutes ago. I'm not going to reiterate it. We're going to sign off. I'm Brent. I've been here with Adam. Stay away from scams.
See you guys later.